Hello everyone, it's Leon here, and we've got a bit of a PS4 o'clock special this week. I am joined by David Meekleham.
Hello.
Who has been playing Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes.
That's one.
So, you've played it through, you've played the side ops, you've played all sort of the bits and pieces. What are we seeing here then?
So this is the main Ground Zeroes mission, which I guess, depending on how much experience you have with the series and how cat-candid you are, it could take you anywhere from, I'd say, for a first playthrough, somewhere around an hour to maybe 2 hours. I know my first playthrough, I did it in about 65 minutes.
But you are quite the pro. How many times have you played Metal Gear Solid 4?
I'm an absolute Metal Gear madman. I've finished Metal Gear Solid 4 to my shame 16 different times. So that's why I was basically told by the PR I'd done it in a quicker time than anyone outside Konami. So
an hour for me feels quite. I tell you what, the problem isn't the time. It is the fact that it's $29.99 for a box copy on PS4.
Yeah. So I guess the core length of the Ground Zeroes mission is also going to be contentious because of the price tag. But thankfully, there was a lot more to the package than just, say, this hour and a half mission. After you unlock it, you also get 5 side ops missions, including one which is PlayStation exclusive. It's like a deja vu mission, which Konami are being quite secret how you unlock it, but it essentially shows like old PS1 Snake and old Blocko Vision, with all the kind of old style guards and
Psycho Mantis is in there as well,
exactly. So, but going back quickly to the actual Ground Zeroes mission, because this is such a radical departure from what's gone before in terms of, we've never really seen a Metal Gear environment like this before. In previous games, you always were dealing with, reasonably self-contained areas or almost rooms, like big rooms that were separated by loading environments. This is a true sandbox. Admittedly, it's not Skyrim. It's still, reasonably small.
But we'll see a variety of approaches as we play. So we've seen just here, he's blown up a watchtower. That's drawn all the guards out to investigate. That means he's now freed up this area. We'll see later on he sets explosives off. He sneaks in different places. You can. I guess what they're trying to say about the core playtime is that you can replay it over and over again, different ways.
I mean, it's like really malleable. I mean, there are many different ways to approach. I mean, you've always been able to go in stealthy or loud, but it's much more complex than that because the environment is so much more open than what's come before. There are multiple entry points and many different ways to approach your goal. So you can hijack vehicles, jeeps, trucks, or hide in the back of them, or interrogate people for information. And also, the game has mechanically come a long way since the last game, which is, God, I mean, we're talking about 6 years ago since Metal Gear 4 came out. So, it has taken elements from the likes of Batman, Arkham Asylum, and Far Cry 3. We're kind of seeing like a kind of Batman-style detective vision now.
Because you can tag them, like it's just like Far Cry.
You look at binoculars. Binoculars in R1, the DualShock 4 or 3 if you're playing on PS3. You can tag enemies, which is, for long-distance reconnaissance. It's really easy because you don't have the radar anymore. There's no solitary radar. There's no kind of like threat ring as in Metal Gear Solid 4. So
you can use the iDroid app, which is a thing you use in game. You can also use as a companion app on a screen. So you could, in theory, be playing this with your iPad on your lap that shows all the guards you've tagged on a map. It shows you heat maps of where people have died, so you can sort of see where the danger zones are. That's going to be interesting. I know Kojima's quite hot on that. What is the actual sort of point of this mission? We're about to see now. He's finding these targets with a spotlight. You're there to rescue Paz and Chico?
Yeah. So you have to rescue Chico first, who's down in one of those cages, and then once you've extracted him, which you do via a helicopter, which can be called upon by like 3 different LZs, landing zones, which you, as you were mentioning before, you can do that via your iDroid, which is kind of like a cute little chunky 80s looking device because this is set in 1984. Rescue Chico, rescue Paz. It's quite similar to I think it was the Virtuous mission from MGS 3 in that regard, which is also a kind of rescue mission where you've got to save Sokolov. So like in many ways it does feel like the opening to MGS 3 in terms of it's a rescue mission, but also the opening to MGS 2 because I guess thematically and visually, we're again dealing with a nighttime infiltration in like a very rainy environment. So.
Now we're seeing some of the new combat moves here. You've got this sort of bullet time thing. It's the most
that's called reflex.
Reflex. It's the most action-friendly MGS I think I've seen in terms of it does feel like action is more of an option than a kind of the result of not getting it right.
Yeah. So the shooting certainly come on. Metal Gear 4 did have over-the-shoulder aim, but this certainly feels more, it's more nuanced, and it's also actually there's definitely more mechanics going into it, because you actually, when you're tranking guards from a distance, you have to take into account like wind resistance and like the direction of the wind. So if your target's about 30 meters away, you'll have to aim slightly above them, because the bullets will drop the further they travel. You've also got a first person mode that's not. It took me 40 minutes to discover, because it's classic Metal Gear, where it uses every single button on the DualShock 4 to the point where it uses all 4 different corners of the touchpad. So actually, up like the top left corner of the touchpad is pause, which is really confusing at first. The bottom right of the touchpad brings up the iDroid. I think the bottom left brings up like your Walkman cassettes, because you can collect tapes, which is kind of another factor of the replayability. There's plenty of things to collect for rewards.
We just saw there he could told the guy to put his hands up, then took out another guy, and then came back and took the second guy. You said you can chain together, like? Yeah,
you can chain together a CQC, so you can like sneak up in guards and hold them up, like you've essentially been able to do since MGS 2. But I think the only game that's really let you chain CQC moves together before was Peace Walker, this is essentially the narratives. I mean, this is the kind of next progression from Peace Walker. It follows on from those characters and kind of where Big Boss is in his life. So I mean, again, as you said, it is kind of tailored toward more of an action friendly nature, but really only when you get discovered. That certainly the primary focus is still to remain undetected.
This is lovely here. I mean, this shows about sort of the flexibility of it. He used an unconscious guard there to stop a truck, to put a bomb on the truck, and then we're about to sort of see this play out. So you can. It's very it feels very experimental and very sort of improvisational. Yes.
Use your words.
Big words. But like I said, as I said before, it can go quite loud, and the action here looks probably the most sort of robust I think I've seen in a Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the side-op challenges, which I won't spoil in any great detail, are, a couple of them certainly do encourage you to go loud.
So they're not available from the start. Do you have to finish it once?
You have to finish it once, and depending on your end mission rank, that will determine how many you immediately unlock. Then as soon as you unlock one, you'll unlock another one, and so there are 4, and then there's that extra like Deja Vu special PS exclusive.
So when you unlock one of these extra missions, these side ops, do you basically start the game again and there's another alternative objective? Or
no, they're actually separate. So
you play through it, right?
So there's a main mission option on the menu. You can select ground zeros, or you can select the 5 different.
So effectively, there's like 5 missions on the same map.
And to be honest, like how in depth a couple of the side ops missions are, they could take you as long as the main Ground Zeroes mission. So I certainly spent a good 30 or 40 minutes.
See, that's interesting, because that hasn't been made clear, because I got the impression it was basically there was some side objectives.
I mean, they might have not explained it particularly clear, but it is probably the main meat of the process. Any footage you've seen in the day, those are the side ops, because Ground Zeroes mission takes place exclusively at night in the rain, and then all the side ops are in the day. So.
Okay. I'm talking about actually sort of day and night and the way it looks. I mean, it looks incredible. It looks a bit like it's very small models, but it does look like really photorealistic.
Yeah, I mean the textures and the character models look great, and a really big thing certainly for the PS4 version is it does run at 60 frames.
Yeah, so
it feels so smooth, which is certainly if you're just jumping from PS3, and even most games on PS4 right now aren't running at 60. So yeah, 1080 60 frames is really impressive tech.
But do you think, I mean, realistic at the price, do you think it's...
I still utterly recommend it. I mean, I think you'll get a good 6 or 7 hours of it, and if the Phantom Pain's a year off, then I'd still definitely recommend it.
Cool. Okay, well there you go. Any questions, leave a comment, and we shall speak to you guys next week.